What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today it's a new week and we have new stuff coming in. Today I have something new from Jumper, and it's something that you asked for. You asked for another version than just the CC2500 version or the JP 4-in-1 version, multi-protocol internal module. You asked for one that would have built-in ELRS. So they answered that call, and not only did they answer that call, they decided to release this one. This is the built-in T-Pro with ELRS and up to 1 watt for internal ELRS. That's actually pretty cool. You can also run on this radio an external light module. You can run Crossfire and internal ELRS. So pretty cool. So internal ELRS option up to 1 watt, or you can run Crossfire as much as you want to put on the outside here for external options. So you could put Tracer on here, you could put the Crossfire Lite. It still has that same smaller screen, but it also does come with an upgraded antenna mount as well. So you can take this one off and replace it with the other one and upgrade this antenna if you want just a little longer range type of setup for your 1 watt. I'm going to go ahead and pull everything out of the box here and put this on the bench and just give you a brief overview of what's new about the ELRS 1 watt version. And if this is one that you're thinking about getting, I will talk about the good stuff and the bad stuff in this review. Here we go. All right, my friends, there is the box. This is the 1 watt built-in ELRS T-Pro radio from JumperRC, and it's nice that they have that option, and it's finally here. So the other versions you can get are the JP 4-in-1. You can also get the CC 2500 version. Most of these seem to be out of stock right now. It seems that they have an arrival notice for the 1 watt version of this radio currently. So you do have other options out there. Obviously, we looked at the Radiomaster Zorro late last week, and they have 2 versions of this one as well. They have built-in ELRS version, and they have the JP 4-in-1 CC 2500 version. So if I were you, I might pick up the ELRS version one if you haven't dabbled into ELRS yet, because either one of these radios with built-in ELRS is just going to be much easier than trying to use an external module. But you could also do that if you already have an existing radio. But a lot of guys are getting these built-in ELRS module radios. So this is the first one for the miniature Jumper series, which is cool, the T-Pro series. And I gotta say, I do like the case that comes along with it. You do get a case for this one. The Radiomaster Zorro did not come with a case. I did put some links down below the video for a case for the Zorro, by the way. But the Zorro doesn't come with a case, the Jumper does. So, maybe that's a little bit better value for the Jumper fans out there. It comes with its own little seatbelt here, which is kind of cool. I'll just take this off. You do get stick protectors, which is nice. It says Jumper T-Pro on there. If you can see that, that's pretty cool. That's built in there. And it looks like ABS plastic. You have this little flip-up antenna. Again, this kind of looks like a DJI transmitter. It has those 6 buttons across the top, two position switches and 2 momentary switches here. We got some dial wheels on the side here. We also have the SD card slot just right in front of the main antenna right here for internal. And we have the bind, DFU mode button. So you push this and you push all of the trims down in center, and that will put you into firmware flashing mode. You also have USB-C fast charge port right there, and you have a trainer port. One thing about this radio is that it also does have full-size 18650s underneath this. So if you're not a fan of how small the batteries are on Zorro, these are the 18350s, and these are 900 milliamp a piece. About an hour and a half playtime on this battery setup without using an external battery. So one thing I did like about the Zorro versus this one is the fact that these are a lot easier to get on and off because they just pop on and off, and the grip itself is actually really nicely built into the radio, the back of the radio here, so that's really cool. So this one also had a larger screen versus these T-Pro and the T-lite. So if you're not a big fan of small screens, get the Zorro. And, you know, I'm not really trying to sway you guys one way or the other. I mentioned my favorite so far, and you know, I've been scrutinized for giving my favorite, even though I've at this point used them all except for the Commando. I'm just telling you which one's my favorite out of all these radios that I've had my hands on. So I'm not saying everything's the best. I'm actually telling you which one is my favorite. So, you know, the haters can chill out or just go take a chill pill on another channel. So you do have this small little tiny screen here, which is, you know, again, not my favorite. Some guys that already own this radio say that once they have a model set up, they don't really have to configure this screen as much anymore, and that's not a big deal. But you also have a port on the back of this one, same as the other one, for adding the external module. And inside the box, I also got that, which is this little guy right here, and this plugs in with a little cable right here. Very simple to set up your external module. So if you want to run Crossfire, you can also do that. And this is the extra antenna mount that allows you to upgrade. If you want to have a more long-range antenna for running on 2.4 ELRS, you can do that. So as this one sits, it is a 2.4 setup for ELRS, not 900. I'm wondering if it can jump back and forth with maybe a firmware update in the future, but I'm really not sure about that. You might have to have a dedicated 915 version or a 2.4. And this antenna on here does say 2.4 right there. So one thing to think about there. But you'll notice that this one also doesn't have adjustable stick tension on the very front. Unlike the Zorro does have these little spots right here are for tension adjustment in the springs, which I thought was super, super slick. And if you want to go back and watch the Zorro review on the Zorro, this is a really fun radio. There's a lot of cool features and things that they've added to this radio in comparison to the Jumper T-Pro series that I liked a lot. So back to the Jumper T-Pro ELRS version. This is 1 watt, built-in internal 1 watt. So if you want to go really, really long ways, you can do that on 1 watt. 1 watt's actually, it'd be illegal to run this radio in certain countries. The other thing we have here is for voice packs, we have this speaker coming out the side here with venting. We have this button here, which will take you to the model menu. We have the forward button, which if you hit that forward and back button, that'll take you into the model menu there. And if I long press it, it'll take me backwards. So I learned pretty quickly, you know, I hadn't played with this for a few days, but long press and it'll take you backwards. So short press takes you forward, long press takes you back, and that's back to the models menu. So my jog wheel will take me up and down in this menu, super easy. And then this one on the very bottom, this is the back button. So this will take me all the way back out to my main model screen there. So if you get this radio and you're wondering, how in the world do I set this up for ELRS and binding? Well, if you press this button here and you go into the model menu itself, let's go forward here. All right, we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and you'll notice that mine already has internal mode set to CRSF. It does not say CRSF ELRS yet, but maybe that will come in a future update. This is also running open, not OpenTX, but Edge TX. So I have CRSF set up, and you can turn external mode off. And to be able to get to your bind menu, this is how you do that. You're going to go back like this, and you're going to long press on the system menu right there. This is also the system menu and the bind or the models menu. So now you'll see model locator here, and that's kind of nice. TBS Agent Lite and Wizard Loader. So we're just going to scroll down to TBS Agent Lite, click on that for your jog wheel, and it'll search for the device, and then it'll say Aeon TX, and we'll go ahead and click on that, and it'll load everything up, all the settings inside your internal ELRS module. So we have our packet rate set to 500, the telemetry ratio 128. We have the switch mode set to hybrid, and model match is on. TX power, you can click that and go from 25 to 50, 100, 250 to 500. to 1000, which is 1 watt. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave mine on 25 for now, because I'm not doing any super long range with this radio just quite yet. We have dynamic set to off, VTX administrator, band is off, channel 1, power level, pit mode is off. You can send that to the VTX, which is kind of cool. So if you want to turn pit mode on, you can do that and send it to the VTX, which is cool. I'm going to leave that set to off. We have Wi-Fi connectivity, enable Wi-Fi, which is cool, enable RX Wi-Fi, BLE joystick, and last and finally, the bind option. So if you click bind, it'll take you into the bind menu, and then once it binds up, it will take you to ready, exit or close or enter to execute it again. So that's how you bind up your ELRS receiver to the internal ELRS module. So you're going to have to go, and again, I'll show you this really quickly, just long press on this system menu and it'll take you to the tools section. 1 of 7, you're on page 1 right here. Go to number 2, which is TBS Agent Light, click that with your jog wheel, and it loads up the AION-TX, and then you're inside this menu to go ahead and start your bind options. And that's pretty much all there is to it, but you know, again, you're going to have to set up some switches up here if you're going to do that, but I seriously doubt most of you guys are going to be flying these buttons unless you're using iNav and a lot of channels. So most of you guys don't use 16 channels. You're only using like, say, 7 at the most, 7 or 8. And again, what I did was, what I would suggest is that if you buy this radio, don't worry about the momentary buttons on the side. Don't even use those. For most of you guys, you can, what I would do is set this up as the beeper, and that way when you press and hold it down, it will, you know, arm your beeper out in the weeds. Now, the way I would do this is I would set this 3-position switch right here as my arm switch, and this one as my mode switch. And that would be a much safer and kind of more intuitive way without accidentally arming or disarming, using, say, arm as this one and disarm as this one. This button setup, in my opinion, for arm and disarm is just, any way you look at it, I believe it's dangerous. And that's the message that I'm putting out there. I think you should use just this switch right here for your arm and disarm switch. This one for your modes. And that's what I would do. But this is nice to have an option for and built-in ELRS 1 watt version. So I'll put the links down below for this one, as well as the new Zorro radios too. And at this point, I'm kind of, in my opinion, I'm leaning more toward the Zorro series from Radiomaster, and that's just my opinion. And you can have yours if you like the jumper version. By all means, grab one of those from my link. It helps out the channel, and hopefully you enjoyed that quick overview and how to bind with the built-in ELRS from Jumper T Pro. Hopefully that helps some people out there, and just quickly walked you through that. But anyway, guys, thanks again for hanging out, and please do subscribe on the channel. I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.